Meal plans don't work. Here's why. Sean here from Fit Fusion Brotherhood. I own a gym for 10 years. I've coached thousands of clients, and the questions that I used to get the most, despite running a gym, would almost always be nutrition based. And the sentiment that I kept hearing over and over and over again was, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Referring to the fact that they wanted me to tell them what to eat, how to eat, and basically give them a meal plan. So I started hearing this so often that I did just that. So one of the things that we did at our gym is we would run body transformation challenges 2 or 3 times a year. And this would be for between 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the program. So one time I wanted to test this out and developed our own meal plan specifically for the members. Now they were a little bit different depending if they were male or female, heavier or lighter, but essentially the meal plans were pretty template based. Tell them exactly what to do and they go out and follow it. So what ended up happening is, believe it or not, we got the best results we've ever seen after this challenge. By using the meal plans, I was shocked. The results were better than I have ever seen. Now, one of the most unique things about owning a gym that I had was the clients that I had typically stayed for years. So I got a really up close and personal look into how people transition over time. Are they able to maintain? Are they fluctuating? And for most of my clients, the success and adherence rate was super high. Now, the interesting thing about this challenge especially was the vast majority of people who did really well during the challenge gained that weight back. Basically, as soon as that challenge ended, they started gaining weight back, which is very normal for the average person, but this was not normal for clients in my gym. So came to realize there are quite a few red flags or reasons why meal plans don't work. So the conclusion that I always have when it comes to meal plans is meal plans work really well short term and they are terrible long term. The problem is this is the exact big problem when it comes to nutrition, fitness and health wellness space. So we want to try to avoid that from happening. Okay, so let's get into it. The problem number 1 is that regain weight percentage. The majority of people who lose weight on a meal plan will gain it back. Now, this may not seem like a huge deal to you because you feel like, well, at least I got to experience what it was like to lose weight. Ideally, you don't want to lose it back, but big deal, right? In fact, it is a big problem because the more times you gain and lose weight, the bigger the harm you do on your metabolism. So we're also worried about having a slow metabolism, but the truth is the only way you get a slower metabolism is if it's self-inflicted. And one of the ways to have a self-inflicted metabolism is by yo-yo dieting. Because every time you lose weight, your metabolism goes down. Totally normal. And then as you gain weight, your metabolism goes up a little bit. But if you go back to your original weight, it's still lower than when you first started. So your weight goes up and down, but stays kind of neutral, whereas your metabolism also goes up and down, but trends towards that negative slope. Whereas if you just maintain the same weight year round, the metabolism also stays the same. So all that to say, the more you gain and lose weight, the worse off it is for your metabolism. And meal plans are one of the worst ways to actually end up having that yo-yo dieting effect. Okay, so just the rate of regain is a big problem. The second problem is there's really no education, right? The meal plan works, but people don't know why it works. And that may not seem like a big deal until it doesn't work anymore, right? It works until it doesn't. And then when it doesn't, when you hit that plateau, you're kind of screwed because all you've been doing is following this black and white template that's been working for you, and now you don't know what to do. So if you don't have that education, if you don't have the awareness, you are pretty much just a victim to that meal plan. Like there's nothing you can do. You're have to restart over again or fall off the track and you're in trouble. So not having any sort of awareness or education can be a major problem when it comes to meal plans as well, because you are at the mercy of just that one very strict, no flexibility route. And then the third big problem here is not very conducive to your lifestyle. Like I don't know many people who are just so regimented where they have to eat the same things over and over and over again. And they never go out, they never socialize, they never go to parties, no vacations, because as soon as you do that, there's no way you're going to be able to hold on to your meal plan. And people that tend to go for meal plans are very rigid and all or nothing, meaning they either follow it to a T or they don't follow it at all. Very few people are able to use the meal plan, fall off track for one meal, and then kind of recoup and get back on track again. Usually that's not the case. So the meal plan works really well until this person has to go out for dinner, or until this person goes out to a party. And then one bad meal turns into two bad meals. And then by the time they realize it, they're like, well, I'm off the meal plan now anyway. And they are just starting back at ground zero. So there's no flexibility with the meal plan. It is not conducive to most lifestyles. And it's not necessarily catered toward what you want to do if your goal is to succeed long term, which it should be. Now, I will say, even though for the most part I do not recommend using meal plans, there are a few people that it can technically work for and that I will prescribe from time to time. So these are the type of people that, if this is you, you may want to consider doing it. So first, the meal plan should always be catered to you. So sit down with a coach, tell them what you typically eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, and with your coach, put together an actual meal plan based off that. So it's not me telling you what to eat. It's you telling me what you already eat. And then we figure out ways that we can find what you enjoy eating that actually works for your lifestyle, but is also going to give you the results that you want. Okay, so it needs to be very catered towards your personal lifestyle. Next, this is someone that has to have education already. So you have to have a very good understanding of how macros work, how calories work, why these meal plans work or don't work. Okay, so earn the right to get a meal plan before you just start off blind. Understanding the process behind it is going to allow you to be a lot more flexible. This is going to allow you to be able to actually go out to dinner, break off the meal plan for a little bit, either find the substitutes to kind of work your way back in, or be able to get back on track. So that brings me to the third type of person. This type of person cannot be all or nothing mentality. Because if you're the type of person where you're going to either crush it or go completely off the wagon, the chances of you yo-yo dieting and going right back to square one again is going to be super high. Okay, so for the most part, I do not recommend meal plans. I would use it as an absolute last resort and for a very specific demographic, because the chances of you gaining that weight back after you lose weight is super high. And as we talked about, this is a net negative for your metabolism. So you never want to intentionally or unintentionally yo-yo diet. Okay, so understand that as you lose weight, your metabolism drops, and that's normal. But as you keep losing and gaining, it gets worse and worse and worse, which is why weight loss gets tougher as we get older. It's not because of the age, it's because of the amount of times that you've regained it. Also, meal plans do not help you with education or knowledge or awareness. It's the whole teach a man how to fish metaphor. Understanding why it works is going to give you a lot more empowerment and be able to get you up for success long term once you hit that inevitable plateau. And then finally, it's just not conducive to most people's lifestyle. Okay, so if you're a social person, a meal plan is not going to work, and being able to be flexible, finding a nutrition program that works for your lifestyle is key when it comes to long-term success. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do enjoy videos like this, do us a huge favor, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.